This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 5. Coverage you can count on.
Now at 5, our extensive team coverage of the response to COVID-19 continues. And as you can see, we're doing things a little differently tonight. I'm Greg Wormuth here in the Channel 9 studio.
And I'm Martha Sagowski live from this new setup at my house. It is our latest effort to put those important social distancing practices in action. Now let's get you caught up on the very latest developments happening right now at this hour. This is what we know. In the last 90 minutes, Governor Ron DeSantis announcing he is taking steps to bring more hydroxychloroquine and Z-Paks to Florida. The medicines are said to have helped some COVID patients recover. That comes as the number of cases in the U.S. rises above 383,000. More than 12,000 people have died from the virus in the United States, Greg.
And here in Central Florida, Martha, we're getting close to 2,000 cases. There are more than 14,000 statewide. A county-by-county breakdown of confirmed cases is on your screen. Also, there have now been deaths reported in every Central Florida county, totaling 36. To put that into context, that's less than 2% of the people tested. However, a much bigger number of people have been hospitalized. We sit right now at about 20%.
Let's dig into those new comments from Governor Ron DeSantis about fighting the virus and treating patients who have the worst symptoms. Channel 9's Shannon Butler is live tonight in the studio. And Shannon, he focused a lot on that drug that we've been hearing about in Washington for weeks.
Yeah, hydroxychloroquine, of course, the big talk by President Trump, but now it seems big talk by the governor of Florida, who is getting doctors to talk about it, seemingly not to bring all the information out by himself after the backlash for the president, who many said isn't a doctor, so he shouldn't be giving his opinion on the drug. Now today, a Broward County doctor said he does think that everything here will be okay. The governor brought that doctor in to tell the people of Florida about all the stuff the medical professionals are doing to combat the virus. The doctor said that hydroxychloroquine mixed with a Z-Pak or even statins are working.
You do think, though, at least having that as an option, you would like to have that as a physician as an option to be able to treat the folks who come in with it?
Absolutely. I think we need to have every option that's available for these patients. Some of these patients are very, very sick, so everything is available, and that's the right way to do it.
Now, more shipments of that drug are actually on the way to Florida. Now, what the governor didn't talk a lot about today was the mess with the unemployment filings, but we do know that FedEx is now taking in those applications that people have printed out or filled out on paper, and they will now be overnighted to Tallahassee. Martha, at least some positive news on the unemployment front. Greg?
All right, and as more people lose their jobs around Central Florida, they are turning to the government for help paying their bills. Channel 9's Lauren Seabrook listened to Orange County's update on its rental assistance program this afternoon. And Lauren, Mayor Jerry Deming says they underestimated the needs of the community.
Greg, he says at the time they put together a program that worked with what the budget would allow for. But now he's asking county staff to look at the demand and see what other options they can come up with without having to use county reserves. Orange County's rental assistance program was created to help about 1,500 families originally with a budget of $1.8 million. But more than 26,000 people applied for help paying their rent. Each person or family can receive up to $1,200 depending on their situation. And once someone is approved, the county says a check will be cut within 1 to 3 weeks. Qualified applicants will have an appointment with the county and will need to verify the financial impact on their household, plus their pay stubs and current bank statement, a letter from their employer, and they'll need to show verification of their legal status. Another county fund is being set up to help people pay for their utilities. Today's county meeting was done virtually, and some people who wrote in their public comments had other suggestions for ways the county could help.
Can we please consider a rent freeze for residential and commercial properties? A rent freeze that would add a month to a lease or owed at the end.
Now, also, Mayor Demings has been meeting with hospital leaders today, and he's working with them on a plan B in case the hospitals reach capacity here. I'm putting together a story about how they could use the convention center for COVID-19 patients for Eyewitness News at 6. Greg?
Hopefully it doesn't get to that, but thank you. And listen to this. One banker described the rollout of the emergency small business loan process as building a plane mid-flight. We're talking about $350 billion designed to keep small businesses in business.
And Senator Marco Rubio has been pushing for clarification in the process, saying people need answers and money now. Today, he spoke with our political reporter Christopher Heath about what's working and what needs to be fixed.
Almost half of the jobs in Florida are people who work for a small business. And right now, many of those businesses aren't in business.
The companies that we serve, we're a sales company, so we obviously can't be going out and meeting with customers.
Karina Owen owns the Orlando-based Synergistic Technologies. She is one of the business owners tapping into the $350 billion approved by Congress in small business loans in order to keep her employees on the payroll while work is shut down.
As the uncertainty grows in terms of how long this is going to be, in 2 weeks becomes 4 weeks, becomes 6 weeks. Now we're talking about the end of the month, and we don't know exactly when things are going to open up.
I want this program to get better every single day, but we know already at least $50 billion have been committed in lending.
Florida Senator Marco Rubio spoke with us about the program. As the chairman of the Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, Rubio admits the rollout of the loans has not been problem-free. Banks were confused about rules. Some providers, like PayPal and Square, have not been granted the ability to issue loans, and the SBA online portal was overwhelmed. But Rubio says fixes are in the works and the money will be available. Welcome news to Central Florida business owners.
I have 3 employees, but they're definitely people that I worry about.
Congress has already approved $350 billion for these loans that can be forgiven if the business keeps its employees. However, Rubio's office tells me it's already seeing the need for more money and plans to ask for additional funds as soon as possible. Reporting from Orlando, Christopher Heath, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
New York saw its largest one-day jump in deaths yet due to the coronavirus. The state recorded 731 fatalities in just one day, and that brings New York's death toll to just under 5,500 since the outbreak started. The state had been recording more than 500 new deaths a day since late last week. Here's a live look inside the White House, where President Trump and the coronavirus task force are expected to speak real soon. And of course, we will bring that to you as we do every day. They are adjusting the lights right now in that briefing room, and we will bring that to you live once it starts. According to the CDC, there have now been a little more than 12,000 deaths across the U.S. from the virus. There are also more than 374,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the country. Meanwhile, primary voting is still going on in Wisconsin today, despite health officials' predictions that this may be one of the deadliest weeks of the pandemic. Some people in line had to wait as long as 3 hours.